Washington is the 21st new town in Britain, the third to be built in northeast England. Until a few years ago, traces of a vanishing way of life still remained, a way of life based on coal mining. Then a man's outlook was bounded by his work. Now it's only a memory, half remembered, obsolete. When the day's work was over, life was harsh and bare. Small, cramped houses packed tightly around mines. A sprinkling of mining settlements, declining, contracting. Against a background of social change and greater economic growth to come, the new town of Washington was born. From the very beginning, it signaled a rising standard of living. Most of us have some idea of the sort of house we would like to live in. It's pleasant to work it all out in imagination and dream of how simple, restful, convenient life there would be. The new town stands between the dream and the reality.
Modern Washington is a new world in the northeast. The old Washington, once Wessington, dates back to Saxon times. Once it was a single small village huddled round a manor house. The new Washington will contain 18 villages by the time it's completed in the 1980s. Washington is situated midway between Newcastle and Sunderland. It stands alongside the Durham motorway, which links with its own urban motorway system. To the north, new roads sweep through the Tyne Tunnel. To the east, a new motorway stretches out towards Sunderland. In Washington, the industrial zones are separated from the residential areas. All of them are specially sited and designed to facilitate production and transportation. They occupy spacious sites with well-planted approaches. They're really like industrial parks. Taken together, the first 7 years of the new town's life are the realization of a new concept of social and industrial development.
5,500 acres, the site of a new town. On its northern boundary, at Usworth Hall, a headquarters for the Development Corporation was established in 1964. Early in 1965, the first task, set by the chairman, Sir James Steele, and all the members of the board, was the preparation of a master plan. It was a framework for the town as a whole, the shape of the road network, the social organization, the land use pattern. To guide and determine the basis for the master plan, the same team of expert consultant architects and planners produced, first of all, an interim plan and report. In 1966, it was submitted to the people of Washington and opened to public discussion. Collaboration had started between the men and women who will live and work in the new town and the men and women charged with creating it. Phase 1 of the development had started. The plan yielded sufficient information to enable the corporation to build schools, houses and factories. By 1967, the program was accelerating. Early in the following year, with the aid of the Civic Trust, war was declared on dereliction. Volunteers, mainly young people living in the town, began the work of raising the standards of the older areas to approach the quality of the new. House construction, factory building. Then, in 1969 and 70, work started on the major road program, years of progress on all fronts. By the spring of 1971, there was a new landmark on the horizon, the first stage of the town centre development. It was also the year the highways opened, when Washington was building houses at the rate of 100 every month. But housing isn't just a matter of building, it's a question of making homes for people. To do this, there must be wide variety and choice. There must be a mixture of housing for rent and houses which people can buy. There must be safety for children and kickabout areas where they can play. And privacy for all. Lawns and gardens are generally south-orientated to prevent cool northeasterly winds from marring the enjoyment of a fine summer's day. Every residential area has its own schools, with their own recreational facilities. And each village its own shopping centre, approached along its own footpath network. Washington is built in a series of villages of about 4,000 people. In this size of village, people can get to know each other, share the same shops, the same schools, and belong to the same community groups. Donwell village is already completed. Nearing completion are Sulgrave, Barmston and Blackfell. Work has started at 5 new villages: Albany, Oxclose, Glebe, Biddick and Harriton. To some extent, life in the new town is like living in a small village within the shadow of a larger community. New residents are always made welcome.
Hello, my name is Jim Ewing and I'm employed as a Community Development Officer with the Development Corporation to help new people coming into the area with information or to answer any queries they might have on social or community activities.
In every new village, we open an office in one of the first houses to be built. A place where people can go for information, learn about the facilities available and the programme for new building.
Are there any women's clubs in Barmston?
Yes, we have a well-established women's club which meets up here in the village centre on a Tuesday evening. Quite a lively group.
Here they meet other new residents and are encouraged to form their own association.
If the committee wants to change its policy, it changes its policy. It's not bound by it.
When the village hall is built, which is usually when the village is about half complete, the new association runs it and its many activities.
Are you suggesting that you should say if people don't come to a certain number of meetings, they are cut off the committee, or they asked to resign, or that we assume they've resigned?
These include gardening clubs, angling clubs, children's play groups and a host of other activities.
I could read out, in fact, the reconstituted committee so that there's no doubt in the minds of the management committee who are the members of this.
We don't run associations ourselves. Once they're established, I'll eventually move on to a new village in another part of the town.
Washington is not only a place to live, it's a place to work. Without new industry, Washington could never have sprung to life. At first, efforts were concentrated on getting the right kind of industry before anything else. Eventually, nearly 40,000 jobs will be generated in the finest possible physical environment for industry and commerce. There are 9 industrial estates, mostly named after great engineers or scientists: Stevenson, Parsons, Swan, Armstrong, Crowther, Weir, Pattinson, Hartburn, Emerson. On them, more than 60 companies are established in the town. One is even producing a new sports car. Washington itself, like the car created in it, is planned for the motor age. The master plan is based on a network of motorways. They're linked at regular intervals with the secondary road system. The transportation network is central to the whole planning of the new town. Residential areas are free from the discomforts and noise of through industrial traffic. Each village is encircled by its own perimeter road to leave the centre safe for pedestrians. But a town doesn't just exist for the passage of motor cars. A town is for its citizens, now and in the future. Where they will come together, the meeting place for the dream and the reality, is the next stage.
Here we're looking at what will one day be the heart of Washington, its town centre. Already the plan is taking shape. Behind me, the shopping area is under construction, and we shall shortly be starting work on a library, a health centre and swimming pool. The new shopping area will be entirely undercover and heated to provide comfortable shopping all the year round. Over by Central Highway, a huge new car park is almost completed. It will take 1,200 cars. The roof of the office on which we stand is part of a large development being carried out for Inland Revenue. Central Park, which will run from the town centre down the Biddick Valley, is already planted and landscaped. All this will add a new dimension to life. With other developments taking place, it will make Washington a town worth living in, a place for people of all interests and ages. Now, after 7 years, it's there for all to see.
It doesn't look like a crane. It looks like a funny crane.
What is it? The crane. This is a crane.
But I think it's a fun crane.
A town is composed of people, not of concrete and bricks. The new town will be what the people of Washington make it. All the planners and builders can do is to provide the homes, the workplaces, the leisure facilities, the social amenities, and the environment for a full and happy life.